Here are the two most popular ways of learning English or any language, but neither of them are the best. I'm gonna need that again. In this video, I'm gonna tell you why these two methods are both weaker than the most effective method that I will share in this video. And by the end, you'll understand exactly how you will learn English or any other language fast and fluently. This secret method is actually a combination of these two methods and probably proves something that you've been sensing for some time. But first, let's review each of the two most popular methods, starting with heavily focusing on grammar and form. This is a popular method in the classrooms. It consists of learning the grammar and focusing on accuracy of using the grammar, the tenses, or vocabulary words correctly. This includes things like studying how to use the grammar and testing yourself by filling in the blanks. And believe it or not, there are a lot of studies that show that grammar-focused teaching is effective, but those studies mostly test using the grammar in an academic setting rather than real natural conversations, which is exactly the reason why the second method, which is growing to be the most popular method to learn English or any other language online, is comprehensible input. I'm certain you've heard of comprehensible input, but in case you haven't, it focuses... What the heck, guys? I'm trying to record a video. What the heck? Welcome to New York. And the second method, which I'm sure you've heard of, is comprehensible input. This is growing to be the fastest and most popular language learning method online, maybe in the whole world. But if you haven't heard of comprehensible input is where you listen to or read text in your target language, so in this case English, at a level that you can understand, and you're focused solely, purely, only on the meaning of what you're reading or listening to. So when you read or listen to the text, you're not worried to the syntax of the language, which just means how the grammar works in sentences, what tense you're using, and so on, just the meanings. And this has proven to be a very effective way to learn a language. The number one reason is that learners stay motivated. They enjoy listening or reading the text, and so they continue to study. And there's a study that shows that if you choose your own text to read or listen to, you're more likely to understand or learn your target language, in this case English. As great as comprehensible input is, it's not perfect. And here's why. It requires a lot of hours of just trying to understand. And oftentimes, learners face the same errors. They see the same tenses, but they still don't understand what it's talking about. They need some guidance. And in fact, some studies have shown that learners who learn from just comprehensible input still make errors later on when they're near native levels, still make grammatical errors. So what then is the number one way to really learn English or any language? And this study holds the truth. This study, you may have seen it before, says that 70 hours of comprehensible input is the same as 286 hours of traditional instruction. This study states that comprehensible input is 4 times more effective than the first method that I introduced today. But when you actually read this, you will see that there were 2 groups of students. Both groups had traditional instruction, meaning both groups of students learned about the grammar or how to form the language in the classroom. But one group had 566 hours of instruction plus homework. combined in total, whereas the other group, the experimental group, had 280 hours of traditional instruction and 70 hours of comprehensible input. And at the end, they tested each other. Unfortunately, the test was academic based rather than fluency or spontaneous based via natural conversation. But nevertheless, they found that both groups scored the same. But what does this mean? This means that, yes, comprehensible input is far more effective and superior to purely studying grammar, but what this study really shows, and what many other studies show, is that to learn English or any other second language, the best thing is to combine comprehensible input with learning the grammar or the form. This saves you a lot of time and it makes you more fluent. You're able to speak and use the language more accurately. So what can we make of this? How can we combine the two most popular methods of learning English into one so that it takes the least amount of time while also being very enjoyable so you don't lose your motivation? Well, there's a method called focus on form. What focus on form does is it allows the learner to speak through natural conversations using natural language. And if or when a learner makes a mistake, that's where they're guided by the teacher into using the right form, how to correctly use the grammar in that case. I have one more really effective tool that will help you learn English or any second language. And I've mentioned it before, and I'm sure that you've heard it before. It is using flashcards to learn a language. And this study right here proves that using spaced repetition helps recall vocab in the future and helps you use it in the future, become more fluent. And when you combine all of these together, you get this nice three-way intersection where you use comprehensible input to listen to and read text. You use focus on form to learn the grammar so that you become better at speaking and writing. And you use flashcards to expand the domain of your vocabulary, the domain of how many words you know, so that you can, well, read more, listen more, speak more, and write more, right? That's why flashcards are superpower. And when you combine all these methods together, you will become fluent in English or any other language that you want to learn. I promise you. And on this channel, I will dedicate myself to making sure that is possible for you. So if you want to join the journey, I'm telling you now, we are going to change the way people learn languages. We are going to change the way people learn languages. And if you want to join that, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment with your name, where you're from, your first language, your level in English, and some common problems that you face when learning or trying to learn English. So now that you know the most effective and the best way to learn English, don't let anybody tell you that you can't learn English. Because one, you can, and two, you will. I promise you. I'll see you all next week.